The darkness swallowed Ion whole. For a moment, he couldn't tell if he was falling or suspended in midair. Cold fingers clutched his ankles, wrists, and throat hands that felt damp, soil-soaked, and impossibly strong. He tried to scream, but the sound died in his chest. The world stretched into blackness, swallowing every trace of light until only the echo of his own heartbeat remained. Then, slowly, the darkness began to take shape. He found himself standing in a narrow corridor made of rotting wood. The walls pulsed, as though they were breathing. Water dripped from the ceiling, freezing against his skin. The air smelled of mold, damp earth, and something much stronger fear. He wasn't alone. The woman he had found under the floorboards now stood a few feet ahead, her back turned, her soaked hair clinging to her spine. Her breaths were sharp, irregular, like someone waking from a nightmare they never escaped. Ion felt his legs shaking, but the corridor left him no space to run. "Why am I here?" he whispered. The woman didn't turn, but he heard her bones shift, crackling like dry branches. "This," she rasped, "is the house beneath the house, the place where your father sent me. The place where I waited for help that never came." Ion swallowed hard. His throat burned. I didn't know. You heard me," she said calmly. Yet her voice vibrated with old suffering. "Every night. Scraping, begging, crying. You were a child above the grave, and he made sure you never questioned why." "My father was a monster," Ion said, voice breaking. "But I didn't. You're part of the truth," she interrupted. "And this house keeps all truths trapped." She finally turned toward him. Her face was no longer twisted with rage, it was hollow, empty. The expression of someone who had cried for so long that tears no longer existed. Soil packed the corners of her eyes. Her lips were cracked, peeled, barely holding shape. She stepped closer, and the corridor responded. Boards creaked, walls pressed in, the temperature dropped. Ion backed away instinctively, but his feet sank into the floorboards, which rippled like muddy water. "You can't escape," she whispered. "Not yet." The corridor suddenly expanded, stretching into a massive underground chamber. Lanterns flickered on their own, casting sickly yellow light across the room. Dozens of wooden doors lined the walls, each one marked with a name. Ion's breath caught in his throat. He recognized some of the names: neighbors, strangers, people who had mysteriously disappeared over the years. The police never found answers, rumors faded, cases turned cold. His father had always said, "People leave, that's life." But they hadn't left, they were here. "What is this place?" Ion whispered. The woman's voice trembled as she answered. "This is where all the truths your father hid were locked away." A loud thud echoed from behind one of the doors, then another, and another. Bang, bang, bang. Hands were pounding from the inside. "Are they alive?" Ion asked, trembling. "No," she said. "They are like me, caught between the moment of death and the moment of discovery. The house won't let us rest." Ion felt sick. The chamber tilted slightly, the floorboards groaning beneath them. "You brought the truth back," she said. "The moment you opened that floorboard, the house awakened. It knows you are the last thread connecting its secrets to the world outside. What does it want from me?" "To finish what your father started," she whispered, "or to undo it." A breath of cold air brushed Ion's ear. Death or truth. Before he could speak, the lanterns flickered violently. The doors rattled. Screams filled the chamber, dozens of voices crying out in agony, in rage, in desperation. Hands burst through some of the doors, thin, skeletal arms reaching for him. Ion stumbled back, tripping over his own feet. The woman watched him with unreadable eyes. "You cannot run from truth," she said. "Not here." The chamber shook as the spirits crawled out of their wooden prisons, dragging themselves toward him, faces distorted, jaws hanging loose, empty eye sockets weeping soil. Ion screamed as they swarmed. But before they touched him, everything went dark. He woke on the floor of his hallway upstairs. The floorboard he had pried open was sealed again. The house was silent, but the scraping had returned. Scrape, 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 and this time it was coming from every direction at once.